In February 1853, Reverend Charles Loring Brace, along with 9 other committed men, founded the Children's Aid Society in New York City. Its mission, to provide gainful work, education, and a wholesome family atmosphere to transform New York street children into self-reliant members of society. These 10 individuals raised substantial funds from the public and wealthy philanthropists. They immediately began impacting young people at the turning point of their lives. While the business of helping poor children at that time was thought to be radical, this movement grew and expanded to the nation's capital. In 1886, the Newsboys and Children's Aid Society of the District of Columbia was established. In 1903, the D.C. organization changed its name to the Working Boys Home and Children's Aid Association, enlarging the scope of services to boys in that neighborhood. With the support and sponsorship of the Rotary Club of Washington, D.C., a new board of trustees was established, and the name was again changed to the Boys Clubs of Washington.
And then Mr. Jelliff bought the property where the Jelliff facility is today, and I understand at that time it was a city dump. And as they were developing Georgetown, he brought the landfill in and filled the land and got Rotary involved in a capital campaign to build the Jelliff Boys and Girls Club. And I never met Mr. Jelliff. I understand he was an absolute fantastic man. That he left his entire estate to the Washington Rotary Club Foundation, earmarked for the Boys Club of Greater Washington.
In 1953, the club moved to its present location and was renamed to honor Mr. Jelliff. The movement continued as the impact on children and communities progressed. In 1936, a group of Alexandria's community leaders founded the original Alexandria Boys Club and developed the property on which the club still stands.
One of the pictures in the paper would celebrate 47 years for this particular club. This were kids that Boy of the Year, and we had a Girl of the Year at that time. I think when I first came on board, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. All I knew I possibly liked working with youth, and at that time the movement was interested in the total package of a kid, meaning health, fitness, arts, so that meant a lot to me.
In 2002, the Alexandria branch outgrew its physical capacity. The board of directors authorized a $2 million capital campaign. The newly renovated Dunbar Alexandria Olympic branch was reopened in 2009, renamed to honor the steadfast support of Will and Denise Dunbar.
Actually, we were the ones that integrated girls into the program in 1973. And we basically took them in as second-class citizens. They could come in on certain hours and certain days, and then they had to go home. Because in order to take girls in, we had to look at some major deals like building toilets, building locker rooms. We got a $500,000 grant from Eli Lilly Foundation to integrate girls full-time. And I hired a full-time women's staff and a full-time executive director.
I think one that's always with me is Ardalie Wright. Ardalie came to our Eastern branch looking for a safe place for her 3 sisters and herself to come after school. And they were homeless. They lived in their car. And they came to the club. Ardalie became very active and involved, went on to become our Youth of the Year, and went on to receive a full scholarship to Princeton University and to graduate. And her siblings also went to some of the most prestigious universities in the country, and her mother went to Trinity University. So when you think of people who had nothing and just a will to do it, to make it happen, and the Boys and Girls Clubs was there for them.
Stepping back to the year 1949, Maryland was brought into the Boys Club fold under the direction of a group of civic-minded Silver Spring citizens headed by Harry F. Duncan. The Boys Clubs of Silver Spring was chartered. the club was named in his honor. The club stands on property contributed by Mr. Sam Eig and the Silver Spring Kiwanis.
Historically, the clubs and the relationship with the police department actually began with the police department in D.C. looking for a way to help young men and later young women in D.C. to grow to be productive citizens. And I can tell you, I've been now with MPD for 30 years. And my career with policing started at 12 with the Metropolitan Police Boys and Girls Club. So the impact is clear. You know, the clubs don't just impact the children that it serves. The clubs and our relationships also impact the parents, the grandparents, the schools, and whatever group comes with that particular child. You know, we aim to impact also.
In 2003, the 6 Metropolitan Police Boys and Girls Clubs joined the Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington family, expanding its operation to 25 clubs, making it the largest affiliate of the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Another wonderful element was added to the Boys and Girls Club fold, Camp Brown. Named after former police chief and co-founder Ernest W. Brown, the camp serves boys and girls between the ages of 7 and 13 who are residents of the District of Columbia, Maryland, and Virginia. Approximately 1,000 boys and girls attend during the summer camping session. Established in 1937, the 168-acre camp is located in Scotland, Maryland, along the widest section of the Potomac River. For over 70 years, Camp Brown has provided youngsters the opportunity to escape the bustle and heat of the city to enjoy a week-long adventure in the countryside. Often the trip to Camp Brown is their first experience traveling outside the city. Youth experience the joy of a relaxing waterfront setting and engaged in structured and well-supervised programs and activities. The partnership agreement between the Metropolitan Police Department and Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington enhanced the programs available to campers. In 1968, the Prince William Boys Club was chartered. Then known as the Woodbridge Club, it was located beneath the 7-Eleven and then later moved to a former flower shop. From there, the club moved to Smoketown Road, where a brand new building was developed. In 1991, the club changed its name and became the Hilton Boys and Girls Club in honor of the generous support provided by the Hilton Foundation. Soon after, the General Heiser Club in Dumfries was opened. Bringing a Boys and Girls Club to Manassas had long been a vision of the Kiwanis Club of Manassas. With the financial support of the city and generous donors like Carteret Mortgage Corporation and the Heavy Construction Contractors Association, the new Carteret Mortgage Boys and Girls Club of Manassas was opened in 2005. The movement continued to grow with the addition of the Germantown branch in 2002. The club had been operating in a public elementary school, which proved to be a great example of a public-private partnership. Subsequently, the county and state government and corporate community gave $1.3 million and 8 acres of land to build the new club at its present location. In March 2000, the steering committee headed by Louis Buzzy Johnson began work to create a Boys and Girls Club for the Fredericksburg region. A solution to meet the needs of one of the most rapidly growing areas in the greater Washington area was apparent. Many community members served diligently in these efforts by attending meetings, offering suggestions for programs, and soliciting suggestions from their neighbors and colleagues. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater Washington organization provided tremendous support, along with funds from the U.S. Department of Justice to support the establishment of this new club. FAP Consultants and Associates was hired to make final recommendations concerning staffing, site selection, fundraising, board development, and program development. Forrest A. Parker, President and Chief Executive Officer of FAP, served as project consultant. Having been a product of the Boys and Girls Clubs and former Boy of the Year at the Newport News Club, Parker volunteered his time and skills and became a key advisor in the development of the new facility. In February 2001, the Fredericksburg branch became a reality. In June of that year, Parker was named Senior Branch Director. Since its opening, over 2,000 youth have joined. in 2005, seeing a need to improve the quality of life for children and adults living east of the Anacostia River in the District of Columbia, BBAR, Building Bridges Across the River, a 501c3 nonprofit organization, collaborated with other not-for-profit agencies to provide access to high-quality educational, arts, recreation, health, and social service programs. In October of that year, the Town Hall Education Arts Recreation Campus, or the ARC, was built. This $27 million, 110,000 square foot campus, located east of the Anacostia River in Washington, D.C.'s Ward 8, was funded entirely from charitable contributions by the federal and district government, corporations, foundations, and individuals. It quickly became a key part of the revitalization of an area in much need of positive alternatives. With the shared mission of providing services and opportunities to youth and families, investment firm Friedman, Billings, and Ramsey, FBR, and the Billings family contributed $1 million to the construction and naming of a new Boys and Girls Club within the ARC facility. The FBR branch at the ARC was opened. Since its inception, the FBR branch has served over 1,600 children and has been host to various events, including Boys and Girls Club Day for Kids, National Mentoring Month, a visit from President Obama, an NBA champion Los Angeles Lakers, and a host of other community activities. It houses a state-of-the-art computer lab, a regulation-sized gymnasium, classrooms, and recreation areas. Today we serve over 21,000 youth at 21 sites in Washington, Maryland, and Virginia. Children today are facing incredible odds. Reality threatens to rob them of the childhood they deserve. Incivility and bullying have reached epidemic proportions and impact today's youth from all walks of life.
Over 3 million youth are bullied each year. You're not alone. Break the silence. We will listen and help show you a way to a better tomorrow. The Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington. Great futures start here.
I think the clubs will be relevant today and tomorrow and many, many years to come because there's so many families that can't afford to be there for the children after school. So there's no place for many of our kids to go. They don't have anything to eat. They don't have anyone to assist them with homework. They don't have a safe environment to go. So I think as long as people have to work, as long as there's poverty, as long as children are in need, there will always be a need for a Boys and Girls Club.
I want to just congratulate the staff of Boys and Girls Clubs. I know that this is the 125th anniversary of Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington. And I know from firsthand experience, from my time there as well as my study of the history of the organization, that Boys and Girls Clubs of Greater Washington has done a fantastic job for this community.
I think that this country is in need of young people who get involved with problem solving, with contributing to our future. And in order to do that, we need to concentrate on the things that we're doing. Everything from education, character building, career skills, very interested in the arts, and of course healthy choices. What are we going to do about nutrition, about fit lifestyles, about making all of those decisions and those choices that make you a great contributor and citizen of the United States. And so when I think about the Boys and Girls Clubs, I think about our children, I think about our communities, and I think about our country.